Hello everyone, and welcome to our online information session for Big Data Analytics. Oops, sorry, just on the wrong screen. There we go. Guide to Applying. This is a 30-minute webinar that we're actually going to walk you through the application process so you can see how it unfolds. My name is Nancy McQuigge. I'm the Program Manager for this particular program, and I'll be facilitating the session today. So welcome, and thanks to everyone for joining us. So just a quick note about the system that we are using. This session is being recorded, and it will be made available in a day or two on our website, and you'll also receive an email from our marketing team with a link to access the video. So if you missed a step along the way, don't worry, you can go back and watch the video once you receive the link, and you can follow along as you complete your application process. So you don't have to worry, just gives you time, to note what we're process as we walk you through, and you can always go back and revisit that video. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to post them to the chat box. I'll try to keep my eye on them as they go, but this is a webinar that's only 30 minutes, so we're going to stick to that time frame so everybody can go off and get lunch. If I have a specific question, I'll leave a few minutes at the end to be able to cover that, or I'll provide you with information on how we can follow up via email, or you can contact us. So just to keep things moving as we get started in this particular session. So some of you have completed, there was a poll at the start that you may have done, just in terms of, just so I get a sense about who has started an application in our system. And it looks like most people have not started one yet, which is great. So hopefully at the end of this particular session, you'll feel very, very confident of how to complete the application process and submit your application before the deadline. So thanks to everyone for completing that poll. So to begin, we'll just do a quick review about the admission requirements for the Big Data program as part of the application process. So there is specific admission requirements for this particular program because it is designed for individuals that already have a degree or diploma in a particular related field. So the requirements for admission is, the first one is academic experience. So again, as I just mentioned, that degree or diploma from an accredited university or college in a particular area such as computer science, engineering, or business, or a related program. There's also relevant professional experience in the field of data analytics or related fields. And then there's also the third qualification, which is for student status, and that's typically where it's an exceptional case. So that may be an individual who has not graduated from an academic program, maybe has limited professional experience in the particular field, but wants to dive in and start with this particular program. You would indicate that on your letter of intent as part of your application process, and that if we needed more information from you at that time, once we receive your application, we would let you know. So there are some prerequisites for the program, and the prerequisites are set just to ensure that the learners have a basic capabilities necessary to be successful in the program's courses. So it is recommended that you have strong skills and you've taken a course in your academic history in terms of statistics and mathematics. You have knowledge of programming language or scripting language, and that should be experience working with those particular programs. In some cases, some people have experience with R, but maybe not Python. We do include some sources for you to be able to pick up some of those particular skills, but you should be familiar, at least at an introductory level, with some of these components. You should be obviously very proficient with computer program applications such as Excel and Access, just to name a few. And then McMaster English language proficiency requirements, they're listed here. there are, it's up to you to determine if English is not your first language, what the standards are, and these are the minimum standards provided for the majority of McMaster programs, and that's what we follow here at CCE. And we'll go, when we're in the application portal, you'll see where that information can be added. So again, the information we're looking for in terms of your application, in terms of the admission requirements and prerequisites, those are assessed based on your academic transcripts, your resume, and your letter of intent. And again, if something is not clear, we will reach out to you once we receive your application and contact you directly to ask some specific questions or some follow-up. So you don't need to worry. We don't pre-assess applications that if you're saying, well, I have this and I've done this and I've taken this course and I have this work experience, should I apply? We don't pre-assess. It's expected that you would apply, then your information is evaluated, and then if we need something else from you, once you have your application in, then we can follow up. Okay, so to get started for this particular program, applications are open for the fall term. The fall term courses start in September, and that's all on our website and schedule. You could access the online application through our system, which is posted to CCE's website, which is mcmastercce.ca. We're going to go to that in just a second. You go to the big data program pages and look for the information on apply now. The application deadline for the fall term is August 1st, but the sooner you get your application in, the sooner we can evaluate it and make sure that you are all set and ready to go before the first week of classes start, because you can't register for a course until you are admitted into the program. So if you wait till the 31st, we'll try our best to clear those out as soon as we can. But you're cutting a little close in case there was a particular course or date that you needed to attend and it may be filled up. So the sooner you can apply, the sooner we can get back to you and get you started on the program. And again, we'll review how to access the application in just a second. So that's going to get into the next part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share with you the actual process, and I'm going to go through the application portal website. You can see what information is required. You can see how you complete the application, how you upload your documents and take care of what needs to be filled in each stage of the application. I'll show you quickly how to go back to your application if you need to make any edits, and how to check if your application has been successfully submitted. So without further ado, we will get to the screen sharing part. So just bear with me while I do a few clicks here to get to the screen. Okay. So again, we're looking at CCE's homepage, so which is McMaster CCA. So from this particular page, to get to the application, you're going to, and hopefully everyone can follow along as we go up, data analytics is found in the business and management category. So if you go to business and management, you go to data analytics, and you just scroll along to big data analytics and mouse click on that. Here's where all the program pages are specific to information that you wanted to know about the program. So if there's something else you need to review before you start your application, you can feel free to do so. But if you're reviewed all this, you're ready to get started, we would go to the button of application information. And again, that just reviews the application period. So it indicates it closes for the fall term on August 31st. And then what do you need for the application? So good idea to get your documentation set and ready to go before you start your application, just to get it all done in one sitting. So you need a current resume, either in a Word document or a PDF, a one-page letter of intent. The letter of intent should indicate your interest in the program, what your learning goals would be for this particular program, basically outlining for us like a cover letter why you would be a good fit for this particular program. If there is something that is not indicative from the admission requirements and your academic background, if it's not indicative in the documentation that you have, it's a good time to put that in your letter of intent, indicating I've been working or I have experience with this programming language for a number of years, because sometimes that's hard to pull from a transcript or a resume. A copy of your most recent academic transcripts. You do not need to send your official transcripts. A photocopy is fine, so you can upload it to the application portal. You only need to submit documentation for the proficiency scores if English is not your first language, and please make sure you check out the requirements on the admission and program prerequisites section and follow the link so you know what is required and if there's an exception that it would apply to your particular case. And then a credit card or debit card to submit payment, and the application fee is $59. So, and then the little link here will walk you through again the how to complete the process in a series of steps, but we're actually going to do it right now. So when you're ready, you click apply now. This takes you to the McMaster application portal, and in the maroon box you're going to see Center for Continuing Education. You can just click on that to open up our page. Now you have to be a little patient depending on how fast your system works. It's not uncommon that you click and it takes a few minutes for the text to load. You'll see the image on the left, so don't exit out. It should pop up in just a second. So give specific instructions here and different tips about what happens if you log out, if you have any particular issues. So read that first. And a couple things to consider. So some of you may already have an active Mac ID, meaning that you have taken courses at McMaster, either on main campus or with CCE, or you're a McMaster employee, or for some reason you've already been issued a McMaster Mac ID, McMaster account. If that is the case, then you want to select that particular option. Some of you may have never worked at McMaster or taken a McMaster, so you're ready to get started and you need to create an application account. So for this particular case, I'm just going to click continue. And here's what you'll see. It gives you all the information, and the fields that are marked with an asterisk are ones that have to be completed. So it asks for your email address. You're going to create a password, so you can go back in and start the application process. So please make sure you remember your password. It will ask you for your legal first name and your surname, gender, and date of birth. And then it gives you the terms and conditions just about what information we are collecting and how that information is used. And you click to agree to that terms. And once you do that, the button create account would start, and then it would take you through the steps and follow through, indicating that an account has been created. So that's if you're brand new to McMaster and you do not have a McMaster ID. It's good you need to do that piece. So I'm just going to click return, which should take me back to the main page. And again, just wait a couple minutes for it to load. If you started an application already, so if you started one and then you have to exit and then come back to it, you would not create a new application portal or application account. You don't have an active Mac ID yet, so you would just you've already created an application account with your email address, and then it will ask you for that email address and password that you set up the last time you were here, and then you're ready to go. So I'm going to select, just for timing wise, that I have an active Mac ID and continue. So it's going to ask me to type in what my Mac ID is and enter my password. And click login. There we go. So this particular is the start of my application section. So this is where you start an application. You can edit an application that you have not submitted yet, and it also is a good way to check if you think you submitted your application correctly, but you just want to make sure you can view your submitted application. So this is where this section will show I said show all right now, but let's say I started an application a while ago. I need to go back and review it. It's going to show me what I had not submitted, and I would just click edit, and it will open up that application, and I can finish from where I left off. If I thought I had submitted it, but I'm not 100% sure, if I clicked on the show submitted and there's no application, that means something did not go right. It should still be sitting in the not submitted, and I can edit and then finish the steps to submit. But for our purposes today, we're going to start a new application. So what you're going to do on the new application area is you're going to select an academic career, and we are continuing education. You're going to select the academic term, and it is fall 2018. The academic program is listed under data analytics. That's the program, and then the plan is actually the certificate option. So you click certificate in big data analytics. And you don't worry about doing anything wrong because the system will default to the only items that are available that fit within these categories. You click search, and then it will show that there is an application available for you to complete for the fall term for data analytics. It just gives you all this information just so you can confirm that this is what you wanted, in case you clicked another program. So you click select, and again, it's confirming. It tells you what the closing date is for that application, what the fee is, and then it is confirming for the fall term. So you've got the right program, you've got the right plan, you know when you have to have this application submitted by, you're good to go. So you click continue with application. Now what it's telling me here is that I had already started an application, and it's recognizing in the system that, hey, you already started this particular application for this particular term. It suggests that you do not submit a second application, but go back and edit your existing application. But for our particular purposes, I'm just going to click OK, saying I know that I've submitted another one. And what it's doing is it is defaulting to my existing application that I already have. Okay. Now, if you do not have an existing application, not to worry. What would happen is on that screen that I was just on, when you select the term, it will give you the option of start new application. You click that, and then it opens your new application window, and you're ready to go. So you would be at the first tab at the top. So all the tabs indicate all the information that you're going to fill out as part of this application process. So the first tab is your personal information. So always on the top, it keeps reminding you what you are applying for. It does give you an application number because you started the application. You could record that on a separate piece of paper just in case something goes wrong. And if you need to check with us, we would probably ask you what your application number is if you happen to know it. But if you didn't record it, don't worry. We'd be able to find it in the system. It gives you information about what names to put in terms of former name or preferred first name, all of that information. Now, because I already have an Mac ID, the system is being very nice to me and it is filling in the information that's related to me as it knows for my existing profile. This did not exist for me already. What I would do is it would give you same type of fields, and you fill in your name, your date of birth, your gender. It will and then it will ask you if you've actually completed if you've previously applied to McMaster, you've attended McMaster. You don't necessarily have to fill that out if you don't want to. You can if you so wish. Once you've finished this information, you click next. And then it gives you, again, reminding of your application. On your particular screen, if a new application, it will ask you to enter your permanent address and your phone number and your preferred number. Now, this is my work number. It would come up and say, what's your preferred? You would indicate if it's business, if it's your home number, if it's a mobile number, because this is what's going to go into the system as your preferred call number if we ever had to reach out to you. You can add multiple addresses if you want. You can add a fake address like I have made up here. and then you're ready to go. It will ask you to confirm your email address before you continue on. So I enter that in. I can save the information at this particular point so I don't lose anything if I have to exit, or just continue to click next. So once we have your personal information and your contact information, the next is test and language scores. And this applies regarding the admission requirement for the English as a second language. So what you'll see is the English language proficiency. So if English is your native language, you would click, you would select the language. So I would do English, I would indicate native, because this is my native language, and I do not need to fill out anything else in terms of these values under speak, read, and write. If English is not your first language, then you would indicate what your native language is. You would indicate if that is your native language. And again, you don't have to fill in these particular sections if you do not want to. And don't worry, if you skip a box and you don't think that you need to fill it in, as soon as you move to the next screen, the system will tell you whether you needed to go back and fill in that information. They give you information about the minimum TOEFL scores based on the university standards. And then here's the section that if it's not your first language, and you do have to supply your TOEFL or IELTS scores, this is where you can enter your information if you so wish. Some people prefer not to fill this information at this particular section, but to upload the document in the application portal for us to take a look at. It's totally up to you what you wish to do. But this is the section where you would look up the test ID, look up the test component, and enter your test scores and the test date as needed. But again, you could always upload the documentation and skip this particular section. But you do have to fill in at least the top part. And I click next. And now I'm on to questions. So there are only 2 questions that we have added for this particular application. See in the question, if you've not ended on a submitted transcript or a resume, please outline your knowledge and skills involving programming and scripting language and working with databases. So in the answer, you just mouse click into the answer box. If you have already indicated this, if it's clearly indicated on your transcript and it's clearly indicated on your resume, then don't feel the need that you have to copy and paste and submit the information again. You could just write C resume. Or if you feel that it's not indicative on your resume, give us a brief explanation about your experience in this particular area. You have to fill something in the box. The system will not let you move on unless you fill something in. And I think you have 4,000 characters, so you have lots of space. Don't feel you have to use all of them if you don't want to. So that's question 1, because you'll see that it has question 1 of 2. And you need to go to question 2. And did you upload a record of your English proficiency scores? If yes, if this applies to you, or I could just write NA if it's not applicable. Sometimes what happens is people will go on this system and they don't answer anything. And what happens is, if you go next, it's telling you that a question still has to be answered. So as long as you put something in, you're ready to go, and click next. This is the space now where you're going to upload your statement of interest or letter of interest in your resume or CV. And if you have documentation regarding your English proficiency scores, this is where you would load them. So what you're going to do is you would just click Add Attachment. It's just very similar to what happens when you add an attachment to email. It will ask you to choose your file. You'd click Upload, and then you're ready to go. So let me choose a file. Click Upload. You'll see the file description there. You can view it if you want. If you need to add another one, just click Add. And again, choose File, pick a new file, Upload, and it will tell you if it's not a valid format, but for this particular case, we should be fine. And then once you're done, you click next. Now, I picked the wrong file. I clicked some images because that's what I have on this particular system. But for you, if you click, if you want to remove it, you just click the minus and that takes it off. Let's see if it will let me go forward. Okay. Once you have uploaded your files and they're all listed, the next is the declaration. So at this stage, you can click to review a report of everything you've submitted on your application. Download that for your own records if you so wish. That does take a little bit of time. Sometimes it takes a while for the system to load it, but remember, you can always go back and review your application at any time in the system to review the submitted applications and non-submitted. This is your application declaration indicating that why we're collecting your personal information, because again, it just confirms you understand what we've collected and how it's going to be used. You accept these particular terms and you click next. And now it's telling me that my application is incomplete because of the application portal. So you would go back and double check where is it incomplete. But for this case, I'm just going to click OK. Now you're on the application payment. So the application fee is $9. You would select here to pay by credit card or debit, and that would take you to another screen to be able to enter that information. Now the trick is, what often happens is people pay and then they think once you've submitted payment, your application is submitted. When you submit your payment and get all of that information in, a window should pop up telling you, reminding you, you have to go back, which should take you back to the Submit tab. And if it doesn't, you go back to the Submit tab, and then you have to submit your application. So once your application is all complete, all your information is ready to go, you've paid the fee, this will turn yellow and you can click on it and submit your application. If you forgot your credit card and you need to go back and get it later, you just click Save to save all the information that you have done along the way. And if you click Cancel and Edit, give you an information saying that some information may not be saved, so you want to make sure that you cancel and go back and save again. And then you feel that it's saved, you're good to go. And then you can cancel and exit. So basically that is how you do the application. Now when you go back in to double check your application or fill in that information, again, you enter which particular, it would be either this time you have an active Mac ID or you created an application account already. Click Continue. I log back in. I would view my not submitted. I would click Edit. Go to the particular tab of where the application is incomplete and where I need to upload information, and click Submit, and you're ready to go. So there you go. So those are what the steps are to apply to apply to the program. It is pretty straightforward. You just follow all the steps as you go along. If you have any other questions or you have encountering difficulties, please give us a call and let us know. And we will help you out in a couple minutes. I'm just going to try to see if I remember how to get out of the screen share to give you the information now. Okay. And stop that. Okay. And I'm just going to pull up my presentation slides here. So if you need any information, you've viewed what you need, you can contact us at bigdata@mcmaster.ca. You can always call our number, the university main line, which is 525-9140, extension 24321, and we can But if you have any questions, we're right at 12:30 now. So that's what I wanted to cover. Again, the application process is just give yourself a good 20 minutes or so to sit down and do it. Again, when you successfully make your payment, you'll receive an email confirmation from Moneris indicating that your payment has been accepted. And then when you successfully submit your application, you will receive an email from McMaster indicating that your application has been successfully submitted and it will be reviewed. But again, if you don't receive those, you go back into the system, check out that what has been submitted and not submitted tab, and you'll be able to find out and what is missing and finish it. For some odd reason, you go back and there's nothing there, then you contact us and we'll see if we can help you out. So I invite everyone, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. Otherwise, thank you very much for attending. I hope this gave you a good overview, really quick, about what you needed to do to complete the application. I look forward to seeing your applications coming through. And again, you'll get a link to the video, which will walk you through. So if you've missed something, not to worry, you'll be able to find it through the video. And again, always feel free to give us a call or send us an email if you have any particular questions. So. Thank you again. If you need to exit, go right ahead. If you want to ask a question, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I will just hang on for about another minute and then close off. So thank you, and have a great day, everyone.